Hey people, hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. I'm Hannah. I'm gonna cleanse the space. Okay, so I've obviously been reading on balanced feminine energy a lot recently, and it's a huge time for transformational change and growth. And so I'm gonna see what guidance from the Dreams of Gaia deck wants to come through. I've got a lot of other decks around me. I'll get the Sacred Geometry because I don't know, something might want to come out of there. I hope you've had a great day. I am full of pasta. Get whatever it is that you need. The readings have been quite long recently because I've just been letting what needs to come out rather than focusing on time. So do get yourself a drink to settle in. That's too many. That's too many. Tell me in a different way, please. The King of Water. Sorry for reflection. This is like emotional regulation, which has been coming through a lot as well. 298. It was the last card. Yeah, it's the last card. So that could be significant. It's the very end of it really is the very end of the rough part of the transformational change. Calm, contemplative, insightful, fluid, balanced, protective, nurturing, jealousy, possessiveness. Safe harbour in a storm, let go of gender bias, strength born of adaptability, Be present in your relationships, a need for excitement. Marry critical thinking and emotional logic. Allow your feelings to guide a decision. Address a cause for jealousy. The King of Water represents a strong man who is calm and protective, like a safe harbour in a storm. He is a nurturing, caring father who embraces a no gender-specific role. He is willing to be both mother and father, nurturer and protector, homemaker and provider. As a partner, he is loving and supportive. So this is representative of all the divine feminines that I've been picking up on, that are whole in themselves, that they're in union with themselves. They're balanced masculine and feminine together. So they are their inner mother and inner father for themselves. I mean, take it if it resonates, if this is an external figure in your reality, but I'm just not really picking up on that energy at the moment. As a partner, he's loving and supportive, a gentle but passionate and sensual lover, and someone who's not afraid to explore it and experiment. And this is like the Prince energy all over. This is Prince through and through. Because Prince, I swear, Prince is one of my spirit guides. I swear. Who was not afraid to explore and experiment. This is so Prince. He is both sensitive and thoughtful, but never weak or soft. He exudes strength. He is who he is because he chooses to be present and caring and adaptable and fluid. He loves to use his senses because to do so is to elicit an emotional response, and he is willing to look within to explore those emotions to increase his understanding. He is a person who has successfully married critical thinking with emotional logic, the process of using one's emotions and feelings in a logical manner to become more knowledgeable and aware, and uses this to his advantage. He is aware that all decision making has an emotional element and that no decision can be balanced without emotions and feelings being taken into account. He has learnt from his emotions and uses that knowledge in a productive and constructive manner. Are you considering your feelings in your decision making process? Now is the time to do so. The King of Water is multifaceted in meaning. He symbolises an approaching time of peace and calm, where you will have time and space to simply be and grow. He also represents a need to let go of emotion-based gender bias and to embrace the awareness that this archaic paradigm belongs to the past. A man can be just as sensitive and vulnerable, nurturing and supportive as any woman. A woman can be just as closed off and insensitive as a man. Both can be communicative with regards to their feelings, and both can be uncommunicative. Both sexes have the same qualities. How emotionally open or closed a person is has nothing to do with gender and everything to do with the individual and their journey. We have been conditioned to believe that men and women are emotionally different when they are in truth the same. I happen to think that men are actually more emotionally sensitive than women. That's just from my experience. As with other court cards, the King of Water can also represent a person in your life who embodies the traits of the king. If you are in need of his counsel or safe harbour, seek him out at this time. Yes, I happen to think that men are actually more sensitive than women, which is actually worse because society is like, oh, men have got to be the big strong one. They can't express themselves and they can't express their emotions, otherwise they're weak and blah, blah, blah. And that I think that contributes to the high suicide rates in men. I've written a poem about it. It's called Chats at the Chiropractors. I'm pretty sure I posted it recently. I couldn't tell you when, to be honest. Potential blockage. When the King of Water appears reversed. Oh, it's not appeared reversed, so let's not go there. Let's see what else. This is Prince. I tell you, this is Prince through and through. Prince coming through. Be the Christmas friend. Anyone who doesn't like Prince, don't talk to me. Six of Air, I think this is. $202. Here it is. Solutions, comparisons, compromise, open-mindedness, mindfulness, illumination, epiphany, personal power. time of research and investigation, look at and compare a range of options, weigh the pros and cons, be willing to compromise, don't let rigidity hamper possible success. A moment of epiphany, step into your personal power, do not discredit what others offer. The Six of Air represents a solution born of compromise that lies somewhere in between the black and white, either or choices that are so often seen as the only options available. Now is a good time to contemplate and compare a range of different options in order to discover the best solutions for one and all. Therefore, it is also time for research and investigation. As you consider the options, compare, take notes, weigh the pros and cons for each. There might be a need for compromises to be made, as sometimes, in order to achieve your goals and objectives, compromise is required. Now is not to be the time to prevent an outcome by being inflexible and taking a rigid stance. So this is kind of like, so this is flexible, adaptable. This is caution against being rigid. So it's kind of like the same message. The Six of Air also represents that singular moment of revelation and illumination when the mind opens and at once understands the extent of the power that we have over our lives. Suddenly you see potential in everything. You see how every experience and choice made by you and others has shaped you and your life and brought you to this moment. In turn, you also understand how every choice you make in the present will shape your future. In that moment of recognition, the mind changes in an instant, and so does life itself. The Six of Air is presenting you with the opportunity to act with mindfulness and awareness. From this moment onwards, choose to take responsibility for your thoughts, beliefs, and actions, understanding that even by taking a passive or inactive role, by doing nothing, or by allowing others to make decisions on your behalf, you are making a choice. Own it. The only drawback is that you will no longer be able to blame others for stealing your power if it was your choice to give it away. This is your moment to come of age and own your power. The Six of Air signifies an opportunity to empower and illuminate your life by opening your mind. I feel like this is more like confirmation of feminines actually owning the power. It's like confirmation that you've gotten over giving your power away and you've taken it back. Yeah, so you stepped into your personal power, and then it's kind of like you're making choices about what's worth actually the effort of compromise and what's not. Because not everything's worthy of like that kind of attention and effort, and like you just sometimes you have to know just when actually you're not in the right room and you're being taken for a ride. And that's part of harnessing your personal power as well. Ooh. 3 of Fire. Looks like 3 of Fire. Two, 3, 8. Action, implementation, exploration, expression, energy, hard work, sacrifice, imitation. Necessary sacrifice, experiment, practice and refine. Avoid copying those who inspire. Step out into the great unknown and trust. Put your objectives first. Avoid cutting corners. Pay attention to details. Have you lost your direction? Do you have an idea or creative venture that you would like to implement? The 3 of Fire represents the necessary sacrifice that may be required when we act on our goals and objectives. When we first begin to act, we often find ourselves exploring the paths walked by those who came before us in order to discover and determine the best way to implement our ideas. I feel like you're not doing this though. I feel like you're on your own path, and it literally feels like someone's trying to get into my house. Yeah, it like I feel like you're paving a new path, and that you are the one that people are following or imitating, and that people are seeing your hard work and your dedication, your expression, and that your fearlessness in in your explorations. But let's carry on. We often find ourselves exploring the paths walked by those who came before us in order to discover and determine the best way to implement our ideas. However, that same exploration can inspire new ideas that break with tradition because something old has been reimagined and expressed by a mind with a unique perspective to make it relevant in the present. To implement those new ideas requires sacrifice, commitment, and dedication. It means stepping away from what is tried and trusted, safe and secure, and stepping out into the unknown with an almost blind faith and commitment. It means putting the objective first and turning away from everything that distracts or might prevent it from being achieved. Yes, this is what I was saying. It means working hard and not cutting corners. This is exactly what I was picking up. It means knowing that what you create will only equal what you have invested and what you are willing to invest. The Three of Fire lets you know that now is also a good time to explore and experiment on a practical level. Use your hands and mind to practice, hone and refine your skills or abilities so that what you create and do will always be something crafted to the best of your abilities and be a true reflection of your passion and dedication. Remember also to avoid copying another's idea because this is the time to be innovative. Create using your experience and imagination to inspire you instead of the vision and ideas of another. I feel like it's more like you need to be aware of other people trying to do that to you because you're the innovative one. So just be aware, like, don't share everything. I've got to put Palo Santo on. Just to cleanse body, mind. So anything else wants to come out of here? Anything else? The 8 of air. Two of 7. The ego, truth, power, responsibility, consequences, cause and effect, lessons learned, memory. Ego does not always tell the truth. Effect will always follow cause. Time to change your ways. Admit that you made a mistake. Memory is imperfect. Self-justification does not mitigate harm. Consequences are inescapable. We all make mistakes. We are creatures driven by our egos. Our ego is in part our identity, the center of our consciousness. It is driven by our instincts and base desires and constrained by culture and society. It can have us feeling confident and certain, or it can have us feeling uncertain and afraid. It can also employ one of several defense mechanisms to shield us from uncomfortable truth or a reality that we are not willing to or ready to accept. So many of us are afraid of the truth. We can be so afraid of the truth that our ego will work hand in hand with our primal instincts and do what it can to protect us. If our ego is wounded or we have been taught to fear, the defense mechanisms employed may also be detrimental to good health, well-being, and to our relationships with others. Our need to feel safe, to feel good, to be right, to be better, to be needed, to be loved can result in the evidence at hand, reality being distorted and shaped to fit our perception of events so that what we want to believe is in conflict with fact. Cognition is the process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. Cognitive dissonance is a conflict that arises. Wow, there's a lot for this card. That arises when an individual attempts to hold on to two conflicting beliefs or thought processes at the same time. That conflict can give rise to mental, emotional, and physical discomfort, especially when our actions and our reason for behaving in a particular manner war with our natural sense of right and wrong and the moral code we are taught by those around us. I think this is just about aligning with people that have the same values as you, and to not be like taken in by charm or people that are saying the right things and doing the right things, and just, you know, not choosing the safe route as well, just because it's familiar or it's something that feels safe to you, because that can actually put you in the wrong direction. Practicing a behaviour that does harm, smoking or overeating, for example, can give rise to cognitive dissonance. The desire to continue doing something that everybody knows and cannot deny is harmful is rejected by a belief that it benefits the individual more than it harms them. Their parents or grandparents may have smoked for decades with no apparent ill effects, or the individual may have come from a long line of overweight people who all lived long and happy lives. The act of smoking helps one to keep their weight under control, while the act of eating makes the other feel sated. I don't even know what that word is. And peaceful. This is an emotional or psychological hook, so they continue and through their choice to do so could result in their chronic ill health, even death. What they have is an addiction, and what their mind attempts to do is to make them feel good about the fact that they refuse to give up their addiction. They know and just understand the potential consequences of their choice to continue, but refuse to consider them or choose to ignore them, responding in a defensive manner when those consequences are raised. However, the conflict that arises can be dispelled by doing one of several things: accept reality and then make changes in one's life in accordance to that truth, or by the continued use of self-justification and other defense mechanisms in order to make ourselves feel better, continue to do something or believe something that is doing us or others harm. So I think this is basically about just knowing what to change, like what to cut off that doesn't serve you. So whether it's like changing habits or changing people that are around you, for example, that are like bad influences, or encouraging you to do bad things instead of actually helping you to be successful. Keeping people around you that are actually good for you and are good counsel for you to be better in your life. The self-justification and rationalisation increases our self-esteem and allows us to see our thoughts and actions in a favourable light. Nobody likes to think poorly of themselves, and so our ego acts to protect us by creating reasons and excuses to justify our actions. This is natural, normal behaviour. We all do it at some time or another. But while we can embrace a natural and normal state of denial, we are unlikely to escape the consequences of our actions. We can deny and suppress, we can rationalise, we can justify, but every action gives rise to a consequence, and those consequences can be both favourable or not. If you do something that you consciously or unconsciously know to have a potential harmful consequence, and you choose to ignore it or believe that it won't manifest, then the 8 of air comes to caution you to think again. There is a price to be paid for all that you do, no matter your reason or intentions, and you alone are responsible for the consequences born of your actions. In everything you do, cause and effect will play out. It is inevitable, and the consequences unavoidable. So this is basically also talking about all this judgment energy that's been coming through. That I just literally just don't feel like this is just about one person. I feel like it's a general energy, that it's a general time of cause and effect, like on a grander scale. And it's like energy that the divine feminines are bringing in because of stabilization of their inner masculine and inner feminine energy. The 8 of air is a very challenging card because it symbolises the need to look at your beliefs and behaviour and question them. Are you hiding from an uncontrollable reality? Is it time to take responsibility for your thoughts, actions and the consequences they give rise to? I think the feminines have been doing this, and they are like the model for like everybody else. They are the ones who have been guiding everyone else through. They are like they were the ones lighting the way. It's time to take responsibility for your thoughts, actions and consequences they give rise to, and to see them for what they really are. Is it time to be humble and accept that you might have projected your feelings about yourself onto another? Have you made a mistake or chosen a path or beliefs that have not served you well, and instead of accepting this painful truth, allowed your ego to weave a reality that allows you to pretend? It's time to face the facts. Don't worry about losing faith by admitting to your humanity. Contrary to the belief that others will think less of you, in most situations, a simple apology and admitting that you made a mistake or have been protecting yourself from a harsh truth will earn people's respect. Therefore, accept that maybe you don't know as much as you think you do, and that you might be hiding behind a false reality created by ego that serves only to make you feel good. Do not blame yourself or allow a wounded ego to make you think poorly of yourself. We all make mistakes. So this also could be feminines just creating the space for people to admit their mistakes as well. Like holding that energy that makes people feel comfortable to admit their mistakes. Because in truth, everything happens for a reason. Like in the universe, there really are no mistakes. Like there's only lessons and blessings. So there might be like an increase in people coming forward, like apologizing because of this rise in feminine energy that is holding that space for people to come to their own humility and kind of heal those fragmented parts of themselves or wounded ego. We all at one time or another try to deny, rationalize and justify our actions and behavior. Every single one of us is an inherently human trait. Our egos will instinctively work to protect us, but sometimes we have to accept that our egos don't always have to do the healthy, right or honourable thing. Take this opportunity to take charge of your life. Embrace your personal power by learning from your mistakes so that you grow in wisdom and awareness. Be humble and accept the truth that your ego is not always honest and you are not always right. Your ego might have your best interests at heart, but it will offer self-justification in order to make you feel good about your behaviour, in order to protect you from the harsher truth that your actions may have been misguided or harmful. The path to enlightenment is made up of our mistakes and the lessons learned from them along the way. Wisdom is earned, not bestowed. Also, I just want to add that being humble is not taking shit. Like, sometimes you have to use your ego to not take shit and assert your position. But that doesn't mean that you don't allow mistakes or anything. That just means, like, sometimes a mistake is allowing someone to walk all over you, and then like the next time realizing that that is not something that you want, like not repeating the same mistakes. Anything else? I really think that is just a really general ego collapse that we're just seeing all over the world right now. A massive mass psychosis that is basically a mass collapse of ego. Confirmation. I don't know if you could hear the chimes outside. I've got chills as well. The scribe, the mother. I've got chills, the scribe and the mother. So the 12 of air is also called the scribe. Record keeper, information, knowledge, tradition, history, personal history, preservation, censorship. Look for an unbiased source, be objective and seek multiple perspectives. Visit the library or archives. Value the written word by writing things down. Document your life journey. Make multiple copies of your digital files. A need to censor yourself. Guard your personal information. So this already kind of, I was picking up on that when I was talking about when that fire energy came through. The scribe is the record keeper, the keeper of all knowledge and information about past, present and future. He is a priestly man, although not necessarily a religious one. So this could be the high priestess energy, which is the divine feminine energy, which is the balanced feminine energy, which is the feminine in union with God energy. I mean, it could be a high priest as well, which is like the male equivalent. That's, you know, people talk about Jesus being a high priest type person, Buddha being a high priest type person. That is all kind of the same kind of ascended master type energy. His religion is knowledge and wisdom, tradition, mythos and law, philosophy, religion and science, mathematics and the arts, history, current events and events that are coming. He has a reverence for books and makes little room for anything else in his life. They are his constant companions, and when he is not reading and memorizing their contents, he is searching for new sources of information and collating and documenting that information so it can be recounted with ease. He is on a perpetual quest for knowledge, not just for his own benefit, but for all of mankind. He believes that record keeping is the cornerstone of civilization, and without accurate records, the past has served no purpose. Unlike the sage, the scribe is a man without intellectual bias or prejudice. He is objective and passionate about preserving, having, and providing the most accurate information and values, being to be able to provide the most accurate information. He always offers knowledge from several perspectives and differing viewpoints of view. He is a man of letters, and those who know him see him as multifaceted. He is philosopher, historian, counselor, teacher, instructor, and more. He is respected. His knowledge is treasured. His knowledge is also feared by those who seek to control information and knowledge that he has amassed. He holds the keys to the library. He knows the secrets of kings and church, the machinations and politics that have brought leaders to power and removed them. With the knowledge he has, he himself can make or destroy nations. It is a power that inspires fear, but also a power that he would never use, because the machinations of man are of little importance to him. Knowledge is his God and the only God he worships. When the scribe appears in your reading, he symbolizes the importance of documenting your life journey, whether it be through photos, a journal, a blog, a video. Record your story so it can be enjoyed and remembered, and do it in a manner that can be safely preserved. Write your thoughts down on paper, scrapbooks full of photos and thoughts about your favourite experiences. The scribe asks that you value the act of writing things down. You might wonder at the necessity, but while the technology at hand enables us to store a wealth of information, it can also be unreliable, and you risk losing everything if a hard drive fails or the cloud should cease to be. If you don't wish to write things down, take the appearance of the scribe in your reading as a timely reminder to make multiple copies of all that have stored on your phone, computer or laptop. You sometimes won't realise the extent of your loss until after it occurs. Don't risk losing those precious memories. Keep them safe. The scribe also signifies that there may be a need to seek someone out who can help you with some research you may need to do. You may need to visit a library or even seek out someone whose specific role is to collate or archive records. Whether you are trying to discover your family history or wishing to follow a path that is steeped in tradition, now is the time to start asking questions and discovering the answers. I don't know why I've lost for words. I feel like this is about intellectual property theft. That's literally what, and like my heart has sunk and stuff like that. I feel like this is about as as sovereign beings, as creators, we need to be extra vigilant about preserving and like trademarking and copyrighting our intellectual property, because we are in a time when people want you to believe that you aren't a source, and that we shouldn't be having sources, that we shouldn't be crediting sources for anything, that we shouldn't be able to trace our lineages and preserve our knowledge that comes down through our lineages ourselves, and also because we're in a time, especially like with like my people, and we've had so many wars where there's just a lot of colonizers out there that want to come in and play savior and play the hero, and cloak other people's energy to gain recognition and clout, and presenting people's heritage and history in a way that serves their narrative, just as colonizers have all done throughout history. And these people, they can be really as obvious as like what happened in Gaza, with the Shitrelis, and them just like destroying castles and places that hold historical archives and historical artifacts, like destroying Al-Aqsa Mosque and taking all the artifacts out of there and all that kind of stuff. That's like really obvious. I mean, they're really overt with the kind of crimes they do. But then there's also like things like NGOs that exist that you know, make money from slave labor basically, but badge it as charity work. So instead of actually just like lifting occupation and just not creating those terrible conditions of pain and struggle and survival for those people, so they can just live and have their own businesses and sell their own art in the way that they want to. There's like these charities. I don't really think that's charity, because it's not really born from love. It's born from wounding and like wanting to appear as like superior, or like they're needed. I think one of the other cards was talking about the need to feel needed and stuff like that. It comes from that kind of place. It doesn't actually help long term. It just preserves empire. It just preserves colonialism, and it's very harmful, very damaging. So there's like, I just feel like I need to say something about actually like Indigenous people writing our own knowledge and documenting our own experiences is really, really important, especially like people have seen with my people, that like, you know, we're documenting the G side and stuff ourselves. And I've been doing it my own way through art and poetry, and other people have been doing it their own way as well. But for me, it's about actually just ending that kind of really destructive cycle where other people's narratives can override our own, because we don't write down our own experiences, and that narrative of, you know, the kind of like the Western Empire narrative, the settler colonial narrative, that just serves their own agenda, perpetuates slavery, perpetuates subjugation, and that kind of, that we can't exist on our own, like we can't exist in our own energy, we can't exist for independently without that kind of help, that, you know, that kind of really damaging energy needs to be gone. Like, I think that's basically the time for that is dissolving. Like, all of that kind of energy is dissolving. The chimes agree. The wind chimes agree. The mother. $38. Unconditional love, intimacy, nurturing, compassion, abundance, growth, fruitfulness, acceptance, fear, control, outcomes. This is the new energy that's coming forward. So as I was saying, like, that old energy of people writing a narrative for you and stuff like that, that, you know, just the, like, the invaders, the colonizers, people with the money, the people with access, the people with connections, the people who who've got the right degrees and know you know, the right things to say to get the foot through the door and that kind of thing. All of that's ending. Like, that whole world just is not going to exist anymore, because people are just going to take ownership and write their own stories. Love without conditions, encourage gifts and talent, emotional intimacy and affection, be supportive, embrace abundance, let go of expectations. We are all different, nurture ideas and goals, voice thoughts and feelings, forgive past failures, release control of others, emotional manipulation. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, like, people like just use manipulation to get themselves through the door and then act like they're doing something good for you, but really they're taking, like, your sovereignty away. All of that's, like, going, that's like being, that's old, that's not for the new world. Her womb, let me show you the mother. It's very green, so that's like heart chakra energy. I don't know if I showed you the scribe, actually. This is the scribe. Her womb is the void in which new life forms, safe, nurtured and protected by her body. She is the earthly universe in which a cosmic soul takes on physical form. There is no more sacred or intimate bond than that of mother and child. She is the mother, nurturer, protector and creator. She is the very essence of non-sexual intimacy, patience, compassion, unconditional love and forgiveness, willing to place the needs of her child before her own. So I did a sacred sexual reading, sacred sexuality reading for Divine Feminine, like focusing on creative energy and like harnessing that, and, you know, especially for the celibate Divine Feminines, because that's really who is doing that, to be honest. I only did that yesterday or the day before. So go and watch that, because that's picking up on the same themes. Nor is that love reserved only for a child born of her womb, for the highest ideal of the mother is a woman who extends her unconditional love to all who dwell in the world around her, without question of whether or not that love is deserved. The mother gives without hesitation or reservation. She is both teacher and guide, encouraging her children to reveal and nurture their talents. In this way, she gifts them with healthy levels of self-belief, self-esteem, and confidence. The mother is also symbolic of a fertile and abundant mind, a mind where ideas take root. The mother is willing to nurture those ideas and provide what is necessary in order for them to grow and blossom. The past. The mother, when she appears in the past position, well, it's not really in the past. the present. The mother, when she appears in the present position, symbolises potential and abundance. Now is the time to allow ideas to germinate, take root and grow, cultivate them, nurture them, and be excited and passionate as you take your ideas from conception to manifestation. Love them and yourself enough to act and follow through, and do it without expectation or condition. Do it without trying to control the outcome. When you do something just because you love what you are doing, there are no failures or disappointments. Instead, there are opportunities to learn and grow. So this is just like, so like my first poetry collection is called Little and Often, and it's just that concept of just writing every day, drawing every day, doing that creative practice every day, not really caring about whether it's good or not, whether you're going to use it or not. But it's just the act of writing, the act of just in and of itself being what you focus on, that process that you nurture and you know, put your focus and attention into, even to the point where it becomes kind of like a meditative practice, which it is for me. That's the bit that's like the without judgment or without, what did it say, expectation and condition. Yeah, it's just from a place of observation, really. I'm gonna get a sacred geometry card. The heart chakra's at the top. These cards are really cold. Oh my god, it's the Divine Feminine. Can't make this up. The frequency of Divine Feminine supports our receptive, nurturing and soft side, allowing it to express itself openly and helping us to connect to our intrinsic understanding of our connection to all of creation. So this is definitely like confirmation that this is for the feminines that are at union with themselves, for like have balanced the masculine, balanced the feminine, and they are in this mother energy. They are leading this massive transformation that's happening universally. They're the front runners, they're the trailblazers, they're the innovators, they're the ones who have turned themselves inside out, back to front. Actually, can't make so. Let's see what it says in the book. Three-dimensional reality is based on the duality between opposites and their external movement towards union. Everything is created in pairs, male, female, matter, spirit, empty, full, dark, light, and so on. Without the tension caused by the magnetic push and pull of duals, there would be no movement. And without movement, there would be no life as we know it. When the push and pull of opposites is equal, a state of balance is achieved. For humans to live harmoniously with each other, the masculine and feminine have to reach a state of union, both outward, in relationship with each other, as well as inward, in a balanced state of heart, mind, and soul. The masculine and feminine attributes inside all of us have to be fully realised, understood, and expressed. Now that we are moving into a new energy, the enhanced qualities of these two opposites in human nature are emerging and urging us to let go of the roles we have traditionally assigned in the past, allowing a new masculinity and a new femininity to arise. The divine feminine is fluid and receptive. It surrenders and opens and is able to easily give way and pull towards galaxies of emptiness and higher consciousness when facilitated by true divine masculinity. This femininity is intrinsically connected to the higher realms and Mother Earth, giving birth to life, ideas, expressions and dreams. The colour pink is associated with the universal love for oneself and others, with sweetness and with tenderness and care, all attributes that are associated with feminine qualities. Brighter pink brings in an aspect of aliveness, excitement, high energy and power. There are various elements of the flower of life visible as a reference to the three-dimensional reality we are creating here on Earth. The light blue refers to our ability to express ourselves with honesty, tenderness, kindness. The 4 stars in the corners refer to our form-based reality. The water in the background is representative of the emotional plane, the realm most associated with the feminine. So I'll show you the card again. Sorry for the reflection. So it's just basically the same energy with a different deck. You can see I've used different deck, and it's the same divine feminine union energy that's coming through. It's that wholeness, completeness, oneness with ourselves and with all. Yeah. So it's like it came out in one of the other readings, you know, that the divine masculines are kind of on the way, and it's almost like, yeah, we have balanced our masculine and feminine within us, and we're whole, and we can hold the fort on our own, but we won't rise higher until we are aligned with balanced masculines that can hold space for us as well, and allow us to settle in and relax into our femininity. And allow us to be like the really soft receivers, nurturers, mothers, expressive, connected, intuitive, creative creatures that we are. Because that is our highest potential, really. That is reaching our highest potential when we are allowed to exist in that kind of flow state, that very natural state of being. We're not forced to surrender. His integrity has just like come out. That is us living in our integrity, in our full, true, highest version. Integrity showed up earlier, like when I was shuffling, like it flashed at the very, very start of the reading from the Dreams of Gaia. So let me just quickly go to it, because it really wanted to show up. One, 4, 6. Integrity, honesty, honor, character, values, morality, sincerity, consistency, principles, fairness. Act with honesty and honor. Walk your talk. Everyone deserves a second chance. Oppose hypocrisy, dishonesty, cruelty, and injustice. Practice ethical and honest behavior. Do not play favorites. Be the best person you can be. Do it for the love, not for profit. Keep your promises. Do not betray a trust. Avoid gossip and speaking ill of others. Do not cheat or take the easy way. Do not allow injustice or cruelty towards innocents. Behavior and actions influence reputation. We all live in glass houses, so avoid judging. The integrity card is the 7th of the influence cards. It represents making choices and acting with honesty and honour. Integrity has many forms. There is personal integrity, professional integrity, artistic integrity, and intellectual integrity. To have sound personal integrity is to have a high moral, ethical, and personal standards, and to hold true to your core values regardless of circumstances. It is to stand in direct opposition of hypocrisy, dishonesty, cruelty, and injustice, to honour your personal truths, Your words and actions are in harmony and do not contradict each other. In short, you walk your talk. So I was actually referencing this when I was talking through all the other cards about being humble is not taking shit. Like, it's actually standing up for injustice. It's actually resisting, because resistance is part of union. It's union energy, and I think people misconstrue it as opposition or separate. Or no, it's resistance is part of the process of coming into union and coming into wholeness. It's very, very integral part of the process. And in fact, it's like a very what to say, it's enlightened. I hate using that word, I really hate it, but it's enlightened. Resistance is enlightened. It comes from having done a lot of inner work. To have sound personal integrity is to be of good character and nature. It is to be authentic and not hide behind any deception or illusion. What you see is what you get. Authenticity is the mainstay of a person with integrity. To have artistic integrity is to do what you love because you love it. Yes, if you are blessed to be able to create for a living, you should do so. But this is Prince energy again. This is Prince energy. But the basis of creation should always be love, not money. Yeah. Hey guys, if you have not learned that from me by now, I just don't know. I don't know, because I've not earned a penny from any of my creative work from doxing for years. And I still do it because an artist can't not do it. Confirmation, like, it's just something that flows out of us. It's our flow state, it's our peace, it's our harmony, it's our balance. Especially for feminines, it's a very, very balanced feminine thing to do. And it's like an ascended way to transmute and utilize passion energy. It's not like, passion is very deep. From when you're in this, when you reach this kind of level of ascension, you've done, you've rid yourself of all your vices and all your bad habits, and you are actually working on being the best you can be. And you will have found the thing that is in alignment with your soul, that you will do, rain or shine. You'll do all the bad bits for it and everything. A person with artistic integrity would not compromise themselves or their craft for money. They will always give their audience and clients their finest work, because when they love what they do, they strive without conscious thought to have their current project or creation be their best. Their heart and passion is always their guiding influence. To have professional integrity is to practice ethical and honest behaviour in business. It is to accord fellow employees, employers, customers and clients respect and honesty. It is to meet one's professional duties in a dedicated and responsible manner, and always perform your duties to the best of your ability each and every time. It is to strive to offer a product or a workmanship of the highest quality, and to be willing to grow, improve and refine oneself in order to become a master of your craft or the top of your field of expertise. To have intellectual integrity is to live by the very same standards that you expect others to live by. It is to be consistent and treat all with equality. It is to be just and fair. It is to hold true to your core values in a manner that is consistent and expected. It is to give those around you the same treatment and not play favourites. There should be no arbitrary exceptions, including yourself. Those with integrity do the utmost to avoid hypocrisy, but also know and understand that some of the beliefs they subscribe to cannot always be honoured. They aspire, but they do not always succeed, and this does not make them less, it makes them human. Those with integrity are not perfect. Those with integrity are honourable, honest, and accepting of their imperfect state, and do not strive for an impossible ideal, but instead endeavour to be the best person they can be in all areas of their lives. It's not the past, it's the present. When the integrity card appears to be in the present, it symbolises the importance of acting with integrity in the here and now. Endeavour to keep your promises. It is not always easy, but if you make a promise, do what you can to fulfil it. If you cannot keep a promise, then do not make one. If you have broken or must break a promise, be honest and speak up sooner rather than later. Do what you can to avoid betraying a person's trust. When somebody gives you their trust, they are making themselves vulnerable. Avoid gossip, speaking ill of, and wishing ill upon others. Venting is one thing, but there is a fine line between expressing your disappointment or anger in another to a friend and speaking or to destroy their reputation. It is one thing to be honest and another to be petty or to embellish the truth to make another be seen in a negative light and yourself in a positive one. Be honourable, be courteous and respectful, even when you do not feel it is deserved. Be honest within your relationships, but always remember that truth has power to hurt. Always choose to err on the side of compassion and kindness. There should be no room for secrets within your relationships, especially secrets that have the potential to cause great hurt. Do the right thing without expecting reward. Do not look for cheats and shortcuts. Do things the right way, even if the right way is the harder way. Do not allow others to harm, lay blame or judgment upon someone you know is innocent. Never allow another to take responsibility for something you had a part in or were responsible for. If you want respect, accord others with respect. If you want to be treated with kindness, show others kindness. If you want to be treated as an equal, then treat everyone as your equal. If you seek to follow your own path, to be and believe in your own way, then allow others to do the same. Do not expect others what you do not expect of yourself. Do not judge and condemn others if you do not wish to be judged and condemned yourself. Be the best person you can be today. So this is, again, I think is bringing out that kind of don't be sucked into being of service to other people in a slavery kind of dynamic, because that's not acting integrity. If you're a true artisan and a true creative, you can do it for yourself. You can be an entrepreneur for yourself. You do not have to be in a slavery environment or anything like that to service and be boxed in and put in a, distorted to serve someone else's purpose for whatever they want to do, using your gifts and talents. I mean, if you agree to that, then you agree to that, but you just have to be aware of when a situation like that is actually an alignment with you, and you are acting in integrity by playing a role in it and being part of it, and when you're not. I'm gonna get a Divine Feminine card to close out the reading because we've surpassed an hour. See which feminine. Oh, that's too many. Oh, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this one. Zhao Huan Ying, the mystic of peace. I am peace. When my mind is clear, the way is clear. One, 5, 8. Zhao Huan Ying embodies the unwavering tranquility that exists deep beneath the turbulence of our daily thoughts. Zhao Huan Ying was a 12th century Taoist mystic and poet. The night before her son's birth, she had a dream that she was immersed in a red mist. This is a very auspicious sign in Chinese culture. The title given to her as a master was Free Human of Mystic Peace. This emphasis in her poetry was the power inherent in stillness, the secret of the repetitive. she writes, must be sought in stillness. The way, or Taoism, is a spiritual practice of clearing the mind so that when we take action, it isn't from the ego, it is from the source of life itself. So this is kind of like what I was saying about how my practice, as an example, is a spiritual practice. It's just like something I do as like it's a meditation for me. So this is her energy. This is kind of energy, and so you might resonate with that. The pedestal of awareness is steady as a boulder. Zhao taught that meditation allows us to disengage from the surface drama the ego can invite us into. She often refers to the moon in her poetry because she was the symbol of the eternal sky, or the freedom we can reach if we stop looking at the light and shadows the moon casts and see the moon itself. When your soul selects her card, Albert Einstein reportedly said that we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So this is kind of that concept of you can't solve problems created by the mind at the level of the mind. You have to look to the soul. You have to govern yourself from the soul. Your soul has to be the driver that governs the mind. Clarity only comes from clarity. There is a peace and calm that exists far beneath the constant banter most of us listen to all day within our minds. Jungian author Clarissa Pinkola Estes, she wrote Women Who Run With the Wolves, which is a very good book and everybody should read it. So go and read that book. Calls it The River Beneath the River. It's the steady flow of the universal life force that wants us to reach our goal if we can only get still enough to merge with it. Wu Wei in Taoism translates as doing nothing. It is a sacred feminine art of trusting the force of life that exists within us all. Zhao mastered this spiritual practice by calming her mind and experiencing the still center that is at the eye of every storm. Zhao is a call for us to be still, to do nothing other than shift our awareness, come out of the current state of mind we're in before making any moves or decisions. She reminds us that we only want to take action when what is moving us is the force of love at the heart of everything. So that's a sign to get into meditation. If you want to train yourself to create from that place. Eventually it will just be the place that you create from if you're not at that place right now. But this reading, I think, is for the feminines who already are at that place. Like, they already have meditative practice. Their creative practice is a flow for them. It is their flow state. It is from stillness. It is from peace. And yeah. So I hope you found these guidance messages for the current energy useful. Let me know in the comments if you did. Please do the free things and help me out, help this baby channel grow. Thank you for all for being here, and welcome to the new subscribers. And I'm so close to 500 subscribers, guys. Help me out there. All the ways to support my channel are in the about section, and any support you give is greatly appreciated. Thank you to everyone who's been donating, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.